This is unbelievable. Just back from my trip to New Jersey, what an absolutely incredible time. And I tell you what, being back here, I actually had a little footage I wanted to share with you guys, and it kind of starts with black animals, or in this case, a Mexican black king snake. I don't know why, there's just something about these really shiny, glossy, black reptiles that really get people excited. Obviously, we have a handful of things, but the Mexican black kings are kind of the most commonly bred animal, so this is the one that seems to be the most popular in the pet trade. Some of the Mexican black kings are actually born with yellow freckles, and then as they get older, they actually turn jet black, and some are actually born jet black right off the bat, but they typically get about 4 foot, right in that range, and are absolutely placid animals. I typically get anywhere from like 6 to 10 eggs from a female, and quite often she'll double clutch for me. This girl is just starting to swell up with some eggs, so hopefully it'll be another good year of production. With that said, I'm going to show you some of the really cool black animals that I met over at Steve from LEAPIN LEACHES, starting with this one. I always love going to a collection and seeing an animal I've never even seen before, didn't even know was around. So what is this?
This is Diploglossus millipunktatus.
Oh my gosh.
Said to respond to the call of the blue-footed booby. When the blue-footed boobies come back to feed the babies and they hear the noise, they all come running, and as the parents feed, the fish spills all over and they pick up the little pieces of fish.
Oh my gosh, and this girl is hopefully gravid.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully gravid, and there's only a few of these in the entire country.
Yeah, absolutely. These were originally produced by Quetzal Dwyer, and I got these from him and had a pretty poor ratio, so I'm hoping to produce some. Lots of males, not so many girls.
I am literally blown away, and I'm in love with this animal. Oh my gosh, I hope you produce. This melanistic blue tongue skink is the exact type of skink that got me interested in blue tongues and started my obsession with them. Way back about 12 years ago, I was in Australia. My friend Johnny Weigel, who actually produced the first melanistics, handed me one of these guys, and I was hooked ever since. I mean, literally, I think it's one of the coolest lizards on the planet. I mean, this is unbelievable. And again, this is what kind of got me interested in blue tongues. Prior to that, I didn't really even have that much interest in them, but once I saw this, I said one day I have to have them. There aren't that many legal ones in the country. Thankfully, this one is, and several others are, and people are starting to produce them. So here in the next, several years, hopefully I'll have one of these little monkeys in my collection. Certainly a dream snake of mine right here. Of course, you guys know that I'm producing the black-tailed cribos this year. Super excited about this. Well, this is kind of the pinnacle of the dry markon, which is all the cribos and indigos. Of course, this is an eastern indigo snake. I mean, wow. I've often said the Mexican black kings are that kind of cheap version of the indigos. I think that's why the Mexican black kings are so popular, is because people want indigos, but they can't have, because you do need to get permits. They're endangered animals. But I'm going to work on getting permits so that I can get some of these for the zoo, because they are absolutely incredible. They're inquisitive, they're intelligent, just an absolutely amazing animal, and always a super pleasure to get a chance to handle them. Another dream lizard. I feel like I've said that a lot while I've been visiting here. Of course, these are sun gazers. Unbelievable animals. I mean, again, you'll never see these. I mean, the only time I've actually seen sun gazers have been in a couple zoos, and when I've been over in Europe at a couple collections. It's so cool that Steve has the opportunity to potentially produce these, because I guess males are very difficult to get a hold of, so he had a handful of females, but no male to breed. He recently acquired a group that has a male in it, so with any luck, he'll have the opportunity to produce these. Oh my gosh. I'm speechless. This is awesome. I tell you what, he has some incredible animals all in all, but the black ones are definitely really cool. It was one of the coolest kind of reptile collections I visited in a really long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the lychee information that we shared. If not, I'll put a link in the description. Definitely go check that one out. But this happens to be another what will be solid black snake. This is actually a Lampropeltis triangulum gauge, or a black milk snake. And what the deal is with these, I've shared them with before, is that they're born, they almost look like Hondurans. And you might think like this thing looks like it's just going into shed, but the truth is it's not. What it's doing is it's morphing into its black color. So these guys will start out almost like any other tricolor with the red, black, and yellow. And then as they get older, they turn really black. Now these guys are from like Costa Rica, Panama area. And the thing about these is they live like 4,000 plus feet up in the air in the mountains. And a lot of people think that that black color is to absorb as much sunlight as they possibly can, because it does get much cooler up there. Of course, black will absorb the sun. And this what maybe keeps these guys thermoregulated regulated. It's a really good theory. I think it certainly makes sense. Regardless, these things turn jet black, just like the Mexican black kings, but these are the largest milk snake, getting up to 6.5, sometimes even 7 foot. So these guys are just turning black. In another handful of months, they're going to be beautiful animals. I am so happy we have these back in our collection. One of the things I've been kind of thinking about doing, and I want your kind of advice on if I should actually do this, I wanted to do something about snake racks. I know there's been a lot of buzz on the internet lately about, you know, is it right to keep animals in racks like this with the kind of more minimalistic type of thing. One of the things I do want to kind of address really quickly, and then I'll tell you what my idea is the fact that some people have said, like, the animal would do better with the hide box. But you have to remember that the housing is kind of a hide box on its own. The whole idea of the hide box is if you have an open cage and the animal needs to feel secure by going in it, that's what a hide box is used for. In the case of this, when you shut this cage, the whole cage kind of acts as a hide box, so the animal doesn't need it as much. That being said, I get what you're saying, and I'm open to discussing it, absolutely, and that's where my idea comes in. Obviously, the vast majority of snake breeders, you know, thousands and thousands of people around the world, keep their snakes like this when they're actually breeding them, and I've talked about the reasons for that, in particular the cost of the babies. A lot of people that are really rising up and saying how much they hate that people are keeping stuff in snake racks have actually bought animals from people that do keep them in snake racks, because quite frankly, the majority of animals that are sold are being bred in snake racks because that's how you keep the price down. If you start to go with naturalistic cages, the prices start to really increase on the offspring. So you just got to keep that in mind. That being said, what I've thought is, what if I got, like, say, 2 or 3 prominent snake breeders, maybe myself, Miguel, Kevin McCurley from Nerd, and we got together and then maybe even got a couple other people from the other side and tried to have a really adult conversation about, are racks really bad for the animals? What is bad about them? What we can improve? Because honestly, maybe if we get this group of people together, we can come up with a solution that can kind of make both parties happy, right? For the people that don't like the minimalistic setups, maybe we can figure a way to add a little bit more to it that won't increase the cost of production, won't increase the cost of taking care of the animals. I don't know what you guys think. Number 1, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Number 2, let me know in the comments who you think those people should be that we should get together. Again, I think from an industry standpoint, you know, Kevin, Miguel, myself would probably be perfect, but if you think someone else should, I am all ears, because I want the best people to be involved in this kind of panel, so to speak. Maybe we'll even do like a live stream where you guys can ask your questions and we can address them. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I really, again, want to keep this conversation going, and I want you guys to understand why we keep things in snake racks, and I want to understand what we can do to make people that don't like that feel better about what we do. So after visiting Steve at Leaping Leaches, we're just taking a little bit of a look at Big Bertha here. I mean, Noah, is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it was really crazy, and I just kind of wanted to see how big Big Bertha was compared to their Big Bubba. I thought she was like really, really big, but then we held Bubba, and she's not that big.
No, well, she is definitely small. Laura, you would have went crazy because I know you love leaches. I mean, literally, he has hundreds and hundreds of leaches. Wow. They're crazy, all kinds of things. So basically, now that I know a little bit more about leaches, I mean, it's amazing how much I didn't know. Not that I'm an expert by any stretch, but Steve taught us a lot, didn't he, Noah? Yeah. So what she is a GT, which is a mainland, but she is just kind of a mixed breed, right? So she's not a locality-specific animal. The good news is the GT, or mainland, is the largest of the leaches, so she should get really nice and big. Okay. So it's pretty cool, but just kind of cool to see them now that we've seen all the differences, right?
It is cool. I'm excited to see our little babies that we got now grow up too, because they got the little pink speckles.
Exactly.
And we saw some really cool leaches that had the pink spots on their back, real big. So
I know, and the thing that's interesting, Lori, is that Steve had told us that if you feed a lot of insects and stuff like that, they'll typically get like longer but a little bit more slender. When he noticed if you're feeding a lot of like Pangea diet, that it's actually going to get a little more bulky. It's kind of interesting, or at least that's his observation, which is pretty cool. I think Big Bertha's kind of like longer, right? She's not real pudgy.
Now that we came back here, I noticed the same thing. I was like, yeah, she's a lot longer and not as stout, I guess is the word.
So now the question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to get a bunch more leaches or what?
Well, you know I've always wanted them since the first time I saw them years ago. So yes, Not a huge group, but definitely would like to put together a nice little group of them for sure.
Might as well take a look at Reptar, the Boise Island, which now I understand is an insular island, and just see what we see with him now that we kind of know a little more about leeches. This is one of our Boise Islands, very different, and again, because now that we've learned all that stuff, we know that the insular islands stay a little bit smaller than the main island.
Yeah.
So this guy probably isn't going to get as big, but Steve did tell us that the Boise Islands do get relatively big, but that is really pretty. Look at all the pinks in that and stuff like that.
Like since we went to Steve's place, LEAPIN LEACHES, kind of makes it, or gave me more of an appreciation for our leeches now.
Exactly, and just the localities. Now we only have the one pure locality, which are Boise, which are the 4 that we just got, and Reptar. So we have 5 of these guys, and then we have one of the GTs that is kind of a mixed breed or something like that. Of course, Big Bertha. But gosh, I tell you, like you said, Noah. Now that we're in it, it's like I kind of look at him completely differently.
Right.
And with that being said, holy cow, did he get big or
I
what?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over the last couple months, he really grew fast.
Like, I swear to gosh, he was like that big just like a month or so ago. Oh my gosh, that's
Got
so
some
cool.
real cool pinks on him too.
Exactly, and again, this is a boy here. We actually have 4 girls from the Boise Island coming up, and Reptar's the only male we have, so he should make some good ones because he's a really pretty one. And again, I'm going to use a little gecko term. He's not even fired up right now. Right, Noah?
Yeah, fired up.
Take a look at guys. Lucy is literally starting to peel her skin. This is her pre-laid shed, so literally that means that roughly about 30 days from now she's gonna have her clutch of eggs. But it's pretty cool to literally catch her in the act where she's just starting to peel. Doggy, I tell you what, I am excited. I'm a little nervous, but I am definitely excited. I tell you what, guys, I haven't slept in a few days, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog. Wish you guys an amazing day. Tell you that I love you. Tell you to be kind to somebody, and I promise I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow.